race is concerned. Paulson 29-4 on the year. He is in the red singlet with the red ankle band. Poeta from Illinois in the blue singlet with the green ankle band.
These two have met once this year. Poeta of Illinois winning 9-8.
Paulson started out the year ranked #1. And he did lose to Poeta in the Midlands finals. Poeta was undefeated going into the Big Tens and was ranked #1, and he lost twice and ended up seated #5 here.
Guys, wouldn't you think that it's a huge lift for Paulson and this entire Iowa State team, what they just saw with Schlater?
Well, it's right in front of them now. The Paulson twins, we talk about the 6 freshmen that are in the Iowa State lineup and how strong they're going to be. But without the leadership of the 2 Paulsons, 3-time All-Americans now, both of them, they have been the reason that those freshmen have elevated because they give great leadership in the room and by example in performance.
Trent first, he's favored here at 157. Travis next at 165. He won't be favored against Johnny Hendricks, the defending champion. The defending 2-time champion.
And we talk about difference makers, and I mentioned it in the opening, but the difference maker's in his corner right there, Cale Sanderson. He knows something about winning.
A little bit, doesn't he?
159-0 as a competitor, 4-time NCAA champion and Olympic gold medalist.
In 10th place.
Nice credentials.
Yeah, and he says he knows what he wants his wrestlers to look like. He has a vision of it out on the mat, and he's trying to get them there.
Sanderson has made a huge, quick statement in his rookie campaign.
That he
That's
has.
exactly right.
And as the Paulson brothers go, so does Iowa State. And I talked to Cale Sanderson before this match, and he said the first time they wrestled Poeta, he was surprised how quick he was. And the adjustment they made was saying he's got to keep his hands down to intercept Poeta on any shot.
Paulson with that takedown to take a 2-0 lead here in the first period.
Point, Minnesota.
That's what Paulson wanted to do. He wanted to get out quick, and he is hard to come back on once he gets ahead.
Paulson, a 2-time Big 12 champion last year and this year. Also a 2-time All-American, 4th in 05, and again 4th in 06. The favorite here in 07.
We did see Poeta in his quarterfinal match rally and get a takedown at the very end of the match to pull it out. So
yeah, that match started out just like this with C.P. Schlater. Schlater came out, got a quick takedown, had the match under control, and then he just kind of stopped wrestling. That's the key to Paulson right here, is not stopping wrestling. He's got off to a great start here. Needs to keep the pressure on. Poeta needs to explode from the bottom here.
Poeta getting to the semifinals by knocking off one of the Schlater boys, Dustin Schlater, who lost at 149. Well, he can sympathize with his brother as C.P. Schlater lost in the quarterfinals this morning to Mike Poeta.
He's a 4-time NCAA qualifier, a 3-time Colonial Athletic
Paulson just slowly brought Poeta back down to the mat. That was nicely done.
And that riding time has built up over a minute now.
Paulson doing a job of just lap riding there, you know.
On mat #1. Also on mat #2 on deck, 197 pounds, Brester of Nebraska.
Kind of clingy, not very explosive, but it's hard for Poeta to get his hips separated and get out of there with good hand control.
That last position, when they were both sitting up on the edge of the mat, looked like they were getting ready for a ride at Disney World.
Poeta deferred, and Paulson takes down, and Poeta will come up on top and try to get rid of some of that riding time before he lets him go.
Quick escape.
Yeah, Paulson did a nice job there, caught the elbow, got a little roll going there, and separated himself and got the escape.
It almost looked like he hit a quasi-switch, reaching back like that, and that's what created that separation you talked about, Tim.
Plus, he preserved his riding time, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Results at 165 pounds in the wrestlebacks. About 521, Eric Tannenbaum, Michigan, winner by a decision, 2-1. About 522, Deontay Penn, Edinburgh, winner by a decision,
quite a bit of juggling going on in the coaching ranks in the state of Iowa in the offseason. Tom Brands, the rookie coach of Iowa, and of course he brings back Dan Gable and Iowa State. That quick reaction, we better go to Cale Sanderson in a hurry before we might lose him to Ohio State. And a lot of people were out there looking at Cale Sanderson.
Ohio State was looking at both of them. If Iowa and Iowa State hadn't have picked up Tom Brands and Cale Sanderson, one of them would have ended up at Ohio State. But instead, Tom Ryan's there and doing a tremendous job. Unbelievable for the Buckeyes.
I was told even Cale Sanderson was on the Iowa list, and they didn't want to have another incident like Dan Gable. He competed for Iowa State and then coached for Iowa and started beating Iowa State.
And Ryan's credentials furthered by what Hofstra has done here at this NCAA championship. He left the cupboard not bare at all. They've got 3 guys in the semifinals.
And speaking of Hofstra, it's 0-0 after 2 periods. And so we go to 3 with Henning-Strouse. Wow.
Neither of those wrestlers, Henning or Strauss, able to get the upper hand.
This coach is exhorting him to ride him just as tough as Henning.
Strauss, he chose neutral in the second period, so now Henning with, well, maybe an advantage if he can get the riding time, but then Strauss is thinking maybe he can get the escape.
No, yeah, Strauss is the one that's trying to get the riding time.
Right.
And that's what the strategy is here. Ride here, get that riding time, and win on it.
Starting the third period between Poeta and Paulson. Paulson in command, leading 3-0 plus almost a minute and a half of riding time now.
Paulson just tying Poeta up, has no room to move, can't create any separation. Stalemate.
You talked about it, Dave. This would be huge for Iowa State, catapulting them into the lead. If Paulson wins, Iowa State will go past Minnesota into first place.
More wrestlers still to come from Minnesota. 3 more, in fact, in the semifinals. But this would be huge for Iowa State to win here and catapult over Minnesota in those team standings. And again, Dustin Slater's loss is really magnified because he was expected not just to win tonight, but to win it all.
Strauss coming on top. And what he's trying to do is get that riding time and then just give one. He does not want a reversal. He does not want to give up more than one. But what he wants to do is get about 10 more seconds of riding time, and he'll have that extra point for a minute or more. He's got 10 more seconds to ride to get that.
Attention,
he's got it now.
Lightweights in the wrestlebacks.
He'll get the riding time. He's built up over 2.5 minutes now. No way for Poeta to erase that.
A 10-minute break.
And he is just dominating the ride position. Poeta just doesn't seem to have an answer.
And that 1 point for the escape over here with Henning puts him out in the lead, and there was no riding time. There is no riding time, so it's a real lead for Henning.
Henning in the red singlet with the red ankle band, 1-0 lead. And again, riding time no factor. Strauss trying to get a takedown. Only 3 Hofstra wrestlers have ever made it to the NCAA finals. And the last one was way back in 1985.
And if he pops the head and can come back in. Well, there's your stalemate, and he's going to have one last shot to get that takedown.
17 seconds to go on 4. There's been no change. We're still neutral.
Stalemate called by the official there because neither wrestler could improve position. Strauss needs to be desperate here. He needs a takedown.
Strauss in blue. 10 seconds to go.
And Paulson's going to do it for Iowa State, and that's huge for the Cyclones.
Paulson has won. And so too has Craig Henning of Wisconsin.
Looking at Cale Sanderson, you'd think he'd be excited because his team now is in first place. He is calm in the